poor fisherman's son, a small fishing town in Japan. Atomic bomb has dropped. Matsuda Pump, the Matsuda Works enterprise, one of the most successful car companies in the world. How a poor fisherman's son established Mazda Car Company. Imagine growing up in a small fishing town in Japan with no electricity, no running water, and barely enough food to survive. And if that's not enough, what would you think if near this town an atomic bomb has dropped, killing more than 80,000 people in an instant? However, daunting this may sound, it wasn't enough to discourage a poor fisherman's son in the 19th century in Japan from founding one of the most successful car companies in the world. This is the story of Mazda Motor Corporation. Even before that fateful day in 1945, Jujiro Matsuda's life has been filled with hardships. Born in 1875 in Mukainda, Hiroshima Prefecture, as the 12th son of a poor fisherman, it was unlikely that little Jujiro would ever amount to anything more than a fisherman himself. Jujiro Matsuda, on the other hand, had grander plans. He walked out on his own at 13 to become a blacksmith in Osaka, where he had his first metalworking shop by the age of 20. At 31, his invention, the patented Matsuda Pump, had earned him and his small family some financial security. The Matsuda Works enterprise once employed 4,000 people and produced artillery fuses for the Russian Tsar. But when the creator intended to expand production to his hometown of Mukainda, the opposition from his co-workers forced Jujiro Matsuda to abandon his own company. On the other hand, Matsuda handled hardship with determination to start over and make his own path, a path that could have been more challenging and comfortable. When the still young entrepreneur was approached in 1921 to help revitalize Toyo Cork Kyogo, a faltering cork product factory that he and a group of other investors had purchased the year before, Matsuda was appointed corporate director and immediately began changing the company's focus away from cork. After a fire destroyed the factory in 1925, Jujiro Matsuda started over, eliminated the cork part of the firm name, and pushed the business in a new direction. Matsuda showed the next ace in his sleeve, the Mazda Go, a three-wheeled truck and the company's first entrance into the automobile industry. Of course, it would not be the last. The fact that Mazda eventually became not just a brand, but also a corporate name in 1984 can be interpreted as evidence of the three-wheeler's success. The 10 units produced per day needed to be increased to meet the demand. The three-wheeler was suitable for transporting bigger quantities of products through the tiny alleys of Japan's cities, and it featured technological breakthroughs such as the four-stroke engine, which were considered pure luxuries at the time. Matsuda chose to defy convention with his pump, as he would many times in the years to come. There were also plans to launch a four-wheeled car in 1940, but World War II halted the project, and the Hiroshima bombing. Mukainda, the Hiroshima suburb of Toyo Kyogo factory, is approximately 5 kilometers from the drop location. Jujiro Matsuda was already returning to the corporate premises at 8:15 a.m. This fact saved Matsuda's life, as well as his company, from destruction. The explosion's impact threw Jujiro Matsuda's automobile off the road, but he and his driver escaped relatively unhurt. Although the corporate headquarters was in ruins, structural damage on the Mukainda industrial grounds was modest. The emotional toll, on the other hand, was enormous. 80,000 people were killed in an instant, including many Toyo Kyogo employees. Many others were injured or lost their houses or families. In these conditions, despair appears to be a natural reaction, but that is not the character of the inhabitants of Mukainda. 4 months later, the company was ready to resume three-wheeler production, and with statewide reconstruction operations underway, demand for transport vehicles was higher than ever. Commerce was thriving once more. However, the events that followed the Hiroshima attack permanently altered the company. Together, the city and the company had seen that they could overcome adversity and emerge victorious. The outcome was a resolve to face obstacles front on and never give up, which continues to characterize Mazda today. The Mukainda spirit sprung up from the ruins of a destroyed city. Tsuenji Matsuda, the son of Jujiro Matsuda, was about to follow in his father's footsteps as the next generation of rivals. When he took over as president of Toyo Kyogo in 1951, the company had extended its business with Mazda's three-wheelers and some four-wheeled utility vehicles. But the heir to Jujiro Matsuda's legacy had his sights set on the passenger automobile. The day has arrived. Toyo Kyogo unveiled the Matsuda R360 Coupe, a tiny K vehicle that swept Japan. The Japanese government had boosted these ultra-small vehicles to reveal traffic congestion, and the current Mazda model distinguished itself from competitors in this class with its coupe design and technical advancements such as lightweight construction. This combination brilliantly reflected the mindset of an expanding middle class. In terms of total production, surpassed 1 million in 1963. By 1966, that figure had doubled. But before we move on, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more exciting business stories. And if that's already done, let's move on. In the 1960s, the Japanese government pressed smaller enterprises to merge their operations into larger corporations capable of competing worldwide. Many small OEMs were to relocate to Nissan, Toyota, or Mitsubishi. On the other hand, Matsuda was determined to maintain the company's legacy and continue on the rough but independent route his father had charted. Felix Wankel, a German engineer, and his breakthrough invention, the rotary engine, provided the solution. Mazda secured a licensing arrangement with NSU, a German corporation that had purchased the rights for the technology. In 1961, the concept of Toyo Kyogo remained distinctive enough the corporation could maintain its independence. A risky bet, especially since the rotary engine was far from ready for use in a production vehicle. Nevertheless, as so often in Mazda's history, his audacity paid off. Rotary cars such as the Mazda Cosmo Sport 110S and Mazda RX-7 are still among the most popular in the company's history, having helped put Mazda on the map. The Matsuda dynasty reign came to an end in 1977. Tsuenji's eldest son, Kohei Matsuda, had been closely involved in the rotary project and took over as president in 1970. He, like his father, hoped to keep developing the technology, but the great oil crisis derailed the effort. Although the Matsuda family no longer owns Mazda, the challenger spirit they established in the company lives on. The headquarters are still at Mukainada. When issues arise, the history and spirit represented by this location urge all Mazda employees to challenge norms and courageously seek innovative answers. The push for electrification and CO2 reduction is putting new strain on engine development. For a relatively small manufacturer like Mazda, finding independent solutions to these difficulties will be challenging. The journey is rocky and thorny after all, but it will be worth it in the end. And that's the story of Mazda. What's your favorite car brand? Maybe it is Lamborghini. And if you want to know about the story of the prisoner who invented Lamborghini, just click here, and I will see you there in a second.